Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ann Miller French with Angelic Hands, and I am streaming live here on Facebook land as well as on my YouTube channel. I hope that you had an amazing weekend. And I wanted to talk about vulnerability in today's live. And anyone that's just hopping on, if you want to let me know who's here, who's joining me. It's always great to see who I'm connecting with. So if you're new with me today, welcome. If you've been with me for quite some time, hi Roseanne. Thank you for hopping on. Thank you for the love. I love the green hearts. And if you've been with me for quite some time, welcome back. I really was thinking about that this morning, just tuning in. I really tune into my heart. I connect with higher self as far as the messages that I'm being guided to share with all of you. And I found that the information really started to flow more midday for me today versus I had some other things that I was focusing on earlier in the day. But it's all good. It truly is all good. And when we ask a question, there's always an answer. It's just a matter of when, and knowing that sometimes it's the timing of when the information is being received. So it's not something that's ever forced. And when there's that flow and that fluidity, we know that we're making that true connection. So it's just really being drawn to talk about the topic of vulnerability. So before I get started with it, anyone that is new to me, new to my work, I work with quantum energy healing. I am also a quantum life coach, a psychic and a medium, light language practitioner, and a Reiki master teacher. And I have been working with alternative healing modalities, holistic wellness, going early back to like 1990, 91 time frame, and just really had a desire and an interest in learning different ways to bring about healing. It truly started with me, so that's where this vulnerability is going to come into play. I'm going to be sharing some things about myself, and with the heartfelt intention that I'm um, connecting with someone out there, or someone that needs to hear this message. So back in um, that early time frame, I was really thinking about where I was at in my life, and I've hit quite a few, and I've talked openly about this, hit quite a few rock bottoms in my life where I literally um, lost things. So I was losing um, money, losing relationships, losing time, losing where I lived, lost my health, lost a big part of me, lost part of my heart, a lot of heartbreaks and loss. And I also had a lot of big lessons that I had to sit with and start looking at, okay, where do I have to start doing some course correction, and where am I still bypassing, um, looking at my own stuff, and rather than going out and being the rescuer and chasing others, then it was really taking a good hard look at, okay, where and why am I still creating these old patterns? And it was running in this vicious cycle and this loop. And um, how many out there have been through this, where you just found that it's like the same old situation, but feels very familiar, but it's showing up through different people, places, things, because we haven't addressed, the things that we experienced earlier. And I've found that as I continue to work through different aspects, and even when I'm working with different clients, whether it's coaching, healing, it's realizing that each and every one of us were vibrating at different levels and taking a look at what's really going on inside and taking a good hard look as far as what's coming up for us, and even standing in front of the mirror and asking the questions, what have I been ignoring? Where have I not been placing myself as a priority? Where am I still not willing to go into something or face something? So this is where that vulnerability comes in, because I know that in many of the past relationships, I was very much, and I'm, calling myself out on that. And I've done that over the years, like really looked at where was I the toxic person in the relationship? Where was I vibrating at? And what was I attracting into my life? And also looking at old patterns that I was still playing out, and vibrating in lack versus abundance. I mean, if you look at major things going on in your life, like ask yourself the question, what is my relationship with myself? What is my relationship with others? What is my relationship with money? What is my relationship with my body, with my mind? Where am I still grabbing for something to numb out, tune out, instead of listening to what's trying to come up and give it a voice and take a good hard look at it. It's not, I talk about how healing is messy and it's a process and it's something that we all go through, and it's not a when somebody comes in, whether it's for a healing or coaching session, I will always come in and say it's not a one and done. I mean, it is a process, and I'm speaking firsthand from my own personal experience. As we work through one layer, we discover another part of self, and it's shining light on anything that feels heavy, that feels dense, anything that appears as darkness, knowing that we have to address and bring about that balance to anything that's imbalanced. And, I talk about that, the body, the mind, the spirit, and bring harmony to everything. Also looking at what is our relationship with time. Do we feel like we have too much time in our hands and not enough time, running out of time? Where are the time wounds? Um, are you currently working through any grief? Are you working through healing through grief, any loss of any kind, any kind of trauma? So, as I've openly shared over the years, a big part of my journey was healing from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, that stemmed from numerous factors, different things that I experienced over the course of my lifetime. And that was childhood stressors and different things that I witnessed, different things that I went through, domestic violence, sexual abuse. And um, really, at those points in my life where I was hitting rock bottom, was like in different relationship where it was just like the rug, I felt like the rug was swept out from under me, and then I was left with this big old mess to take a look at these things. That's when it got my attention and said, okay, where do I have to make some changes here? So a big part of what I do is not only hold space for another person as they're going through their journey, as they're embarking on their healing journey. It is a process. It's also allowing myself to be vulnerable and say, you know what, it may not be the same exact set of circumstances, but I've been there. And to be able to truly, wholeheartedly, from this heart of mine, be able to hold space for another person that may be going through different things, different experiences. And if you look at time, health, money, relationships, career, working with your gifts, trying to understand, okay, what is this awakening thing about? What is the ascension process? What am I supposed to be doing now? And why am I still running around the hamster wheel? And vulnerability is a gift. It shouldn't be viewed as a sign of weakness. It is the opposite. It is a strength, allowing yourself to be vulnerable to, pardon my French, being vulnerable enough to face your own shit, your stuff that's coming up, and take a look at it and say, you know what? All right. When you're ready, when you've gotten to the point where you say, you know what? Have you had enough? I want to make some changes and um, create a life that's built from infinite possibilities rather than lack or limitation. So, a big part of my journey, what I do is continue to work on my own stuff. And as I'm holding space for another person, it's teaching different techniques and modalities through biohacking techniques and helping to take a look at what is currently going on inside and address what's going on inside, and then working with these different things to help break that up to start working on building the kind of life that you truly want, desire, and deserve. So I just really wanted to, connect with all of you today and just talk about that. And um, another part of my work is the healing of the inner child. So looking at the parts of us that still, are asking for our attention. So the little girl inside or the little boy inside, creating this safety, creating this safe vessel for your child to thrive rather than feeling that he or she has to stay in survival mechanisms, these coping mechanisms, and again, running around on that wheel. So as things come up, I get different bouts of inspiration. There are things that I like to share on this forum and share with each and every one of you, and also looking at where are we holding ourselves back from love. But again, it truly does start from within, and knowing that whatever is going on the inside, we're seeing evidence of that on the outside. So if you don't like the script, you want to start making some changes, it's allowing yourself to be vulnerable and say, you know what, it's okay to ask for help. That is very much a strength. It's okay to say, um, right now I need that time and space to work on what is coming up. It's okay to cry, it's okay to feel, it's okay to express yourself. And I know that these current energies that we're in, and different things that are coming through, that's affecting every single person on this planet, no matter how far along you are on your journey or not. We're all affected by it. And I will be the first one to tell you that when I hear like a song on the radio, something that makes me think of my dad or things that I've experienced in my past, or you'll see uh, like something on a billboard or get a message, a random message from somebody, or on your social media feed. There are different things where you might feel like your eyes are welling up or you feel that pang in your heart. It's to get your attention and to sit with that and go into the grief, go into the feelings, go into the sadness, and allow yourself to purge and to process and just see what's coming through. And then taking, where you're at and making something from it. So for me, I like to write different things. I call it poetry, memoirs, just different things like taking my words that are coming through from my heart and then tying a picture to it. So it's fun for me, it's fun for my inner child. I love to work with different colors. Painting is another expression of self, singing, dancing, getting out in nature, really whatever makes you feel alive and gives you that opportunity to um, kind of transmute, transform whatever is coming up for you at the time. And it's a beautiful process. It may not feel that way when you're going through it at the time, but I I have to share something that my dad, when he was still with us, he and I still feel a lot of emotion connected with this. When I was going through some, tough times in my life, there was something that my dad would say to me when he was still with us, and it's still very much, uh, I remember it to this day. He would always say, don't give up. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And there's so much truth to that. And I'm grateful for those words because it really did, even at those moments where I felt like I was at my darkest time, my darkest hour, working through the darkest night of the souls, doing that shadow work and processing grief of different losses, went through those rock bottoms, had some just things that I experienced that I would never wish upon anyone. And even, with my own health and working on reversing different illnesses, different injuries, and there's choices, and there's truly no right or wrong way. It is up to each individual person as far as how you want to move forward. What are the steps that you want to use to navigate forward to bring about the balance to, as I mentioned before, the body, mind, spirit, and live a life that you truly do deserve, and happiness, and to bring about that feeling of safety and security, feeling safe in your own body and in your own environment, and allowing that creative genius inside of you, aka the inner child, to thrive instead of him or her feeling shut down or afraid to express. There's different ways to express. Oh, thank you, Roseanne. That is so beautiful. That's very beautiful. Yeah, I just want you to be happy, know that I love you. Yeah, that is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So it's, really thinking about how you want to express yourself. Again, with the different things currently going on in our world, each and every one of us can do our part from within, really making a difference, and even asking, how can I help? How can I be of service, today? What's one small change that I can make today? And being witness of that, and instead of getting caught up in the constant loops and the cycles, take a look at how we can be the change that we wish to see in this world, and be the change makers, be the leaders, working, with whatever modality you feel drawn to. And the time where you're writing something or drawing something, or you feel like, wow, I really feel like this could help somebody, allow yourself to have that vulnerability to share that with others. And I remember, for example, when I started writing poetry again back in 2019, and it was just for me at the time, but then I started stepping out of my comfort zone and sharing it with others, and really hearing how, those words were not only helping me, but helping others that were going through Um, Again, not necessarily the same set of circumstances, but just how it made an impact on their life. So I'm glad that I followed my guidance because, with where we're in, when you follow the guidance of your heart and you follow that inner sense, you just have that inner sense of knowing like what your next steps are. So if that's reaching out, working with a life coach, or experiencing a healing session, or even just starting with a reading, it's really up to you. You're unique in your own way and beautiful in your own way. And, um, being true to you as far as what feels good and how you want to express yourself through your eyes, through your voice, through your hands, how you express yourself, even when you walk into a room. What is your presence? Do you feel like a bright light, or do you feel like very dim? Do you feel like a flicker, like your battery is running really low? So really taking a look at where you're at and where you're vibrating at and what you're attracting in, and it's taking those steps for that course correction. And again, I will tell you from, my own personal experiences and through my own vulnerability, that when I went through these different life lessons, I really started to see some changes in my life. And I'm grateful that I made the changes because I know, going back to, some of those darker times in my life, at that time, I didn't know if I was going to see another day or if I was going to be here to share my story with others. But I'm here. I am still here. And I would rather be in a space of thriving rather than, feeling of surviving. So look at where the scales are. If you're looking at a balance, are you like this, or are you like this? You getting yourself to this. Sending you love. I hope that you have a beautiful and amazing week. And just, even ask yourself the question, what does vulnerability look like to me? What does it feel like? And making those changes. Oh, thank you, Roseanne. I'm grateful that you're here too. We're, all connected, one universe, one love, and we are going to find that over a course of time, we're going to have our truth in our universe, and others will have their truth in their universe. We can agree to disagree on different things, but that's what makes us unique. That's what makes the world a different place, and having that diversity, but really standing your ground and taking back your power as far as, um, how you want things to flow in your life and the changes that you'd like to see for yourself, for others, and for future generations to come. That's something that I also think about, as families expand and new babies are being born and bringing in that new life. It is so beautiful to see that, but knowing that those that are currently here, we can make a difference. Thank you.